Good afternoon. It's Thursday. It is 3:07 and it is time for you to be adrenalized. Why? Because you're here. Because it's time to be the best version of yourself. So if you're able to, get up from where you're sitting, get that blood flowing, get those juices flowing, get that. If you've been sitting all day in front of a computer screen and your mind is a big fog, get up, get moving, and let's get adrenalized and ready for a wonderful, wonderful afternoon and a wonderful show. This is Tom Marino, and this is the Tom Marino Show. I'm your success strategy coach, and it is Thursday, and we're getting a little bit of April showers out there right now, people. It was a little bit rainy coming in. I'm kind of tired of the rain already. I know it's only the 7th day of April, but I am tired of the rain. I'm tired of the April showers. I'm ready for those May flowers. I'm ready for that new life. Listen, we are live in the studio. I want you to give us a call at 631-451-1039 and tell us what is going on for you today. What are you struggling with? What do you need help with? You know, today we have a very, very special guest with us in the studio that we're going to be talking about some fitness and nutrition and coaching and lifestyle. And I think it's really a great opportunity for you to have your questions answered. If you have any questions about nutrition, fitness, or coaching, you're going to have plenty of people to talk to. But before we go into the main part of the show, I just want to just note a very special dedication for today's episode. I am dedicating it to my aunt who passed away this past weekend from lung cancer, from her battle with lung cancer. And just wanted to, just tribute her, my Aunt Roseanne, for what she did in life, the unconditional love she taught her family, especially her daughter and all of us. She will be sorely missed, and I do want to, just dedicate this show to her because of her strong will, her strong perseverance, and her strong willpower. And she was a fighter. She never gave up. And that kind of ties into what we have as a guest today and who we have as a guest today. So I want to welcome Sarai Nunez, who is the owner of Gritt NY. And I'll let her tell you a little bit about Gritt NY, and we'll get into her story. So Sarai, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me, Tom.
Yeah, I'm so glad you're here, Sarai. I love your smile. You're brightening up the studio on this rainy day, and I really appreciate your energy. You're bringing beautiful energy already to the studio. So tell us a little bit about Gritt NY.
So Gritt is a fitness studio, precisely kickboxing, boxing, and nutrition, right? I have a vision of just having a place that is very just well-rounded around a healthy lifestyle. So that's what Gritt is. It's more of like a lifestyle, a healthy one. How to get to that. That's what Gritt is.
That's awesome. And Sarai, how did Gritt come about? Tell me the story, because kickboxing, fitness, coaching, nutrition, all of those things really tie together incredibly well. And that was one of the reasons why I reached out to you, was I just saw what you were posting on your Instagram, which is at gritt.ny. And I was just so amazed at the synergies that we had, but the two different ways that we were working. So how did this all come about for you?
It came after my mother passed. My mother passed at 52 years old from ovarian cancer. It took her very quickly. I spiraled after that. I lost my sense of security, confidence. I was lost. I really, really felt lost. And I was very just overwhelmed and filled with a lot of negative emotions of why it happened, why so young, why her, I need my mother, I need my mother. And it made me just go down this rabbit hole of finding out what I could have done to help her, if I could have done even anything at all, and what I missed. So it was just going down that rabbit hole and learning and resurfacing and just finding that I found my purpose and my intention after my mother passed. So I came into kickboxing as a student. I loved it. I realized that I genuinely have love for teaching people in the sport and how it transformed, something such like tragedy, and it made me find that purpose.
Yeah. Well, first, I'm sorry for your loss. It is not an easy thing when someone is taken from us, especially at such a young age. I mean, 52 is very young. And so suddenly it's really when that change is thrust upon us. I often talk about change being thrust upon us, but change is about transformation, right? And as difficult and as bad of a situation that was, you've turned it into something, and it opened up a doorway for you, right? One door did close, but another one opened wide open. And when you build a business and you build something from that kind of a doorway, opening up for you, it's just so much more meaningful, isn't it?
Yes, it's a lot more meaningful, especially, I didn't mention that she was misdiagnosed, misdiagnosed 8 years by 3 different doctors. People who went to school for so long, who were supposed, vowed and had to, behold that vow, and they didn't, they kind of like did the very bare minimum, and it's just, the grit is just so it's that right. It's that intention behind it,
right? And grit is about tenacity, right? It's
Correct.
About speaking up. It's about taking a stand for yourself and protecting yourself. And I mean, all of these different ideologies that are coming from your business. And it's kickboxing. It's also fitness. It's also self-development in a physical, transformative way, correct?
Yes, correct. Exactly that. It's transforming. I'm a strong believer that once you transform, you start with the mental, the brain, the body just follows. Right. Just everything else just flows.
That's such a key point. I always say that I'm always more productive and have a better day when I start with with exercise and my mindset becomes screwed on better, right? You have more productivity. You live your life fuller when you have the mind and the body working together.
Yes, 100%.
So, we're talking to Sarai Nunez from Gritt NY. Sarai, where is your studio located?
It's on Main Street, East Islip, literally right next door to our neighbor's Domino's.
Ah, lovely. I always love, isn't that like the secret to all fitness places? Be put next to the not so healthy foods, Domino's, right? I remember a show where they said, if you want to be successful, build the curves next to a Dunkin' Donuts. Get the people when they're, because it's part of the temptation, right? Is are you going to walk in? Which one are you going to walk into?
Yeah.
Right? So that's awesome. So on Main Street in East Islip, that's where you can find Gritt. And Sarai, tell us a little bit about the classes that you offer.
Okay, so we have 2 different types of classes. Currently, it's the kickboxing, which is cardio kickboxing. It's 60 minutes from start to finish, right? Just basically, we do a lot of HIIT training, rounds, of course, where we just incorporate calisthenics. Okay, it's just a full body workout, just making sure that we work every single muscle in the body and not just focus on just one little tiny thing.
Right. And how many days a week are you actually open?
6 days a week.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And this is a new business, correct?
Yes. Opened up in December of last year.
Wow. So you've only been open for really almost 5 months now.
Yes, correct.
That's fantastic. I love when new businesses start. I love the energy that, and if you guys have a chance, go to grittny.com, correct? That's grittny.com?
That's correct.
And go to grittny.com. There's incredible pictures and images, and their Instagram has incredible postings on all of the beautiful aesthetic that is Gritt, in addition to being that hardcore fitness, kickboxing, getting people up and getting people fit. So we're going to talk more with Sarai after the commercial break. But if you want to ask us a question, please give us a call at 631-451-1039. We're going to get a little bit into the nutrition after the break. But if you want, give us a call. 631-451-1039. And listen, if you haven't done so already, go check out my Instagram at Tom Marino Coaching, and also go check out Gritt.ny and check out what Sarai is up to at Gritt. All right, we'll talk to you right after this. Don't hold it back. Hey, this is Tom Marino of The Tom Marino Show here. Imagine you wake up and you've had a major sewer backup in your home. Well, let me tell you about a company that I've worked with personally, New House Restoration, where they take your damaged old house and make it a new house. For any water, fire, mold, or asbestos damage, please call them at 631-604-8590. That's 631-604-8590. New House Restoration. And welcome back to the Tom Marino Show. I'm your host, Tom Marino, Success Strategy Coach. Thank you for tuning back in. We are live in the studio, so when you get a chance, give us a call, 631-451-1039. That's 631-451-1039. We are speaking with Sarai Nunez of Gritt NY, located in East Islip on Main Street, next to the Domino's, which we established a couple minutes ago before the break. But I'm so excited to have Sarai in the studio because we spoke a couple times before the show, and we've been, the Instagram posts that you guys have done was so inspiring to me, and around how you approached coaching and helping people and really getting people back on track. And one of the key components to that is also nutrition. So Sarai, tell us a little bit about, what's your approach to nutrition in addition to the kickboxing?
I firmly believe, first of all, that nutrition is not a one size fits all. Okay. And that's why I decided to everything that I learned on my own, I wanted to make it official. And I got certified in nutrition through Cornell University. And then currently taking further certifications through the National Academy of Sports Medicine, on top of the one that I have for, PT, which is instructing. Right. So everyone's different. And it's huge that we have to take into consideration your ethnicity. Okay. Mm-hmm. We have New York is a huge melting pot, and we have people from all types of backgrounds. And that is most of the times things that nutritionists or even doctors don't see. Okay. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like take this pill or take this and you're good to go. No, because everyone may be someone who, is from the Caribbean, who you put them on a certain type of a diet or nutrition. They may actually need something a little bit more close to home because it's where they were born. It's their homeostasis, right? So that's what the body's going to need. It's also nutrition plays a part of how, the sun, that's huge. It's how much sun are you getting throughout the day? Right. That's going to go hand in hand with how we absorb vitamins and minerals from our food. Mm-hmm. So that is crucial. Just understanding that there's also an emotional connection to food.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, I saw you put that in the pre-interview questions about, the how nutrition has such a strong emotional component. We talk about that all the time, right? We don't realize how many things have an emotional component, right?
Yes.
Even the food that we eat and the relationship with that food that we eat has an emotional component. Tell me a little bit more about that and how you've seen that play out.
So a perfect example. So I'm Latina, right? Mm-hmm. And a rule for my mother, and I know it's the same thing. It's you're not getting up from the table until you finish everything on the plate.
Right.
I don't care if you cry, it is. So that causes some type of negative, attachment to food, because now it's like, oh, I don't want to eat it or I'm not hungry, but you got to eat it because it's the polite thing to do, right? And I didn't cook just for food to go to waste, right? So now that's one of the connections that we have to start breaking, specifically with kids, right? Because that's going to carry on and subconsciously going to create a pattern and that attachment with food.
And that is such an interest. I've never heard anyone put it that way before, right? It's what are you doing around creating food habits, right? If you tell someone not to eat a certain food,
they're going to eat it.
They're going to eat it because we always want what we can't have, right? And that becomes more destructive. So that's a relationship, but it's a negative relationship with food, right? It's that holding it back from me and making me want it more. And then I sneak it or I go find a way to eat it. And then I overconsume it, right? Which is another negative consequence of those things. I was on a diet about a year ago because I had gotten a little bit heavier and I've always been a little up and down with my weight since I became an adult, right? And I'm like, you know what? I'm doing the best that I can. And I learned how to change my habits around food, right? And eating the foods that I wanted to when I wanted to, but doing everything in moderation, right?
Correct.
So let's talk about moderation a little bit because I saw your eyes light up on that one.
So moderation, we're so used to, I want to mention, we're used to eating for taste, right? Mm-hmm. Eating for taste, we have to switch that that thing in our brain and start eating to fuel this beautiful machine that we have, right? And that's where moderation comes into play. It's okay, you're not going to overwhelm yourself. Your brain is so powerful that if you say you can't have that piece of cake, you're going to have it. Right. You know, it's all right, maybe you're not going to have the whole cake. Maybe you're just going to have half of that cake, right? And maybe, all right, I'm not going to have it tonight. I'll actually have it in the afternoon or right before dinner, so it's not so late, and then you're waking up with all like feeling bloated, heavy, and all these things that come with, you know, having those sugar spikes.
You're 100% right. And, you know, if you're just tuning in, we're talking with Sarai Nunez from Gritt NY, her kickboxing studio, and we're talking about, you know, nutrition and the role nutrition plays, but we're really talking very much about the emotional connection that we make with food. You know, you said it's fuel for your body, right? You know, when you go to the gas station, right now, we're kind of developing a negative relationship even with the fuel we put in our cars because of the prices of gas, right? So, I mean, you go to the gas station, you want to put premium in your car. Yeah. And you put regular. Is regular the junk food? I don't know, right? Is regular enough to get us to where we need to be? And I think that's kind of how we have to think about our food sometimes. Is would you only put premium gas in your Mercedes or in your really high-end car? Because that's what the gas calls. That's what it calls for. That's what the engine calls for to run smoothly. Correct. Why wouldn't you put that premium gas in yourself? And those are your fruits and vegetables. Those are the healthy foods that we take in. What an insight, Sarai. You've had me have a total brain explosion here. Yeah. But, you know, what do you see as a big struggle with your clients that come to the studio for kickboxing that are also struggling with their weight? What do you help them to do?
I coach them through I find it 80% of the time is the mental struggle. Right? Mm-hmm. It's that community that they need of, you can do it. I'm here to help you. You can do it. Right. You know, it's women, and most of our members are women, but we do have men, you know, but most of them, it's like, I believe in you. I've been there because I've never been, you know, oh, I'm thin, but it wasn't always okay. So I've been there. I know the struggle. I still have goals for myself. And if I can do it, if I'm working on it actively, I know that you can do it. Right. It's that emotional and mental stress that doesn't allow people to move forward how they want to. So it's like removing and helping them detangle what's going on mentally and emotionally so that everything else can just flow. Right. You know, and we also get people who just come in. There are people who just, it's a switch. Right. You know, they do it and that's perfect. But not everyone works the same way. Right.
You know, and you brought up a couple of good points in there. You know, it really is about being connected to a community, right? A community of people that are doing the same thing. You know, when we're struggling in our personal lives and we're struggling to get things done and whatever it may be, we often need to turn to a community of people who are going through the same things. That's what support groups are all about, right? I mean, support groups are to help people through their struggles. And we have to think about all of these different things as supportive community, right? Whether it's a kickboxing class, whether it's a group mastermind like I run, whether it's you know, going to a support group, you have to find that community of change, of people going through changes that you're going through so that you can be successful in what it is. So we've been talking to Sarai Nunez from Gritt NY. Check out their Instagram handle at Gritt.ny on Instagram. And I just want to, you know, we're going to be back after the commercial break and we'll continue to talk to Sarai because I think we have so much more to offer you out there. But after the break, give us a call at 631-451-1039. That's 631-451-1039. And let's continue this conversation about change and community and the importance for all of that. We'll talk to you right after this. Feel like that's what you want to do. Here come bad news, talking this and that. Yeah. Well, give me all you got and don't clap along. And welcome back. It's Tom Marino and the Tom Marino Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are back. We've been talking with Sarai Nunez from Gritt NY, located in East Islip. today's show has been really awesome. I have to say, I love the energy that Sarai has brought to the studio. I hope that you can feel it wherever you are, whether you're working out, or you're listening to this in your car on your way home. I hope you can feel that energy because, you know, it's about being adrenalized, right? I always talk about choosing your adrenalized life, right? Living your adrenalized life, you know? So, and what does that mean? It means to make a decision, take action and act decisively. If there's something that you're thinking about right now that you really are struggling with to make a decision, just do it. Make the decision, give yourself the next 20 minutes to contemplate whatever else you need. But at 4 o'clock, make that decision. You know, give yourself a deadline. You know, I was talking to Sarai during the break, and this young woman gets up at 3:50 in the morning to start her day. I don't know about you, but that's acting decisively. Absolutely acting decisively. Sarai, why do you do that?
Why? Because I have a vision. I want to help people. I want to make a difference. And just getting up that early allows me to just start my day with fire. And my students are what fuels me to be there just teaching and up. You know, it's not easy because it's not, but it's not like when I worked for corporate that are like, oh, another day, 90 emails, this. No, yes, I'm tired, but there's love coming from it because it's like, all right, I'm going to go. I am going to do this. I'm going to teach a phenomenal class.
The power of love in what we do and the power of inspiration and being inspired by the people that you get to work with. That's why I coach, right? That's why you coach. That's why we are working with people, because we are coming from a place of service and we are excited. We get fired up for that. We're adrenalized for that. And I just love that. And I know I've seen your Instagram posts where you say 5 a.m. or 4 a.m. and you're in your studio. And I'm like, oh my God, when does she sleep? So when do you sleep?
I do sleep when I get a chance. If I'm lucky, I'll go to bed at 9:30 if I'm lucky. If not, I'm usually in bed by like 11:30. I don't take any melatonin. I don't believe in that. No. But I do it. I try to rest as much as I can.
But isn't it too about doing the work, right? You're committed to doing the work. And we were talking a little bit about that too. Like, you know, people come to your studio for fitness and for kickboxing and to get into shape. And, you know, some people come to coaching to get in shape emotionally and spiritually. And that's what coaching is all about. And you're doing all of that, right? We're focusing on the mind and the body. Tell me a little bit about, you know, like, you know, we mentioned too before the break that nutrition is such an important role in what we're doing. And you said some people even come to your studio to gain weight. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, not everyone needs to drop the weight. We have people who want to gain weight, and gaining weight is not precisely putting on, you know, those pounds of fat. No, it's weight in muscle mass. Muscle is huge. It powers our metabolism. It's the more muscle we have, the younger we're going to look, the healthier we are, you know, and that's what people come in. And what I say to them, you know, I always ask for a 3-day journal. Like, I need to know what your day-to-day is like.
Awesome.
I should ask for 7 days, but I know people aren't going to do it. So I'll just settle for 3.
Okay.
3 is good.
Okay.
And I asked your sleeping habits, everything. I said, be as honest as possible. If you eat Twinkies, I want to know. If you had Coca-Cola, I want to know everything, because everyone's different and I need to tailor it to you. I need to know what's going on.
Right. You know, it's so funny. You know, we're talking about doing the work, and part of doing the work, you would settle for 3 days. I wouldn't allow it less than 7. Sorry, that me as a coach, I'm going to hold you accountable for 7 and I'm going to make you work. And my clients that are listening right now, you know, the GPW, the gratitude plan and the wins. If you're not doing that every single day, I get on you and I'm like, listen, let's get those gratitudes in. Let's get that plan in. Let's get those wins in. You know, and you made me think of, you know, something else when we were talking about the nutrition piece and the emotional connection that we make to food. You know, part of it is also finding that new favorite healthy food, right? Yes. Do you encourage people to do that?
Yes. I first want them kind of to go through a detox kind of thing.
Okay.
Of removing sugars.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
Specifically, not, you know, the good sugars of fruits, nothing like that, but just like detoxing from the sodas, from the artificial replacements,
Yep.
of sugar replacements, which are awful for us. And then I tell them, all right, eat something a little bit, all right, incorporate this back in. And I need to know how your body feels.
Right.
Write it down, because now when they know how their body is reacting to certain foods, that's when it starts making more sense of, oh, it's not that I can't have it. I won't have it because it doesn't make me feel good.
You
so
know,
that switches.
That changes everything. It's about raising awareness, about bringing self-awareness to what you're doing, right? Mm-hmm. When we say don't eat that, well, no, that's not going to help you with your awareness to it, right? It's just going to make you want it more. And that point about raising your awareness that is huge, right? Because it's, I know when I eat healthier, I feel better. Yes. I'm not as tired. My bones don't hurt. My joints don't hurt. The things, I sound really old, but they do hurt once in a while, but I notice that when I'm eating healthier, that I feel better all of the time. And I don't feel, sometimes you have that like dirty feeling when you've eaten too much, artificial flavors and, too much of the sugar and the processed foods. Yes. Processed foods kill us. Yes. If you could just eliminate processed foods from your diet, it changes your whole life.
Correct. 100%. Huge believer. I say it all the time, remove the oils, remove the polymonos and trans fats, those processed foods, remove them. And people are like trying to stay away from saturated fats because they demonize them, right? Oh, fat makes you fat, fat's bad for you. No, actually, saturated fats we need.
Right.
It's like, start learning, start doing the work of why do you want to lose the weight? Right. Why do you want to gain the weight? And it's not just, because I want to be healthier. My next question is, why do you want to be healthier?
Right.
Okay. And then the next question usually is, the answer to that is because I want to, be there for my kids. Why do you want to be there for your kids? So it's dig deeper until you find that why.
Exactly. And that's what it always comes down to. What is your why? What is your why for doing what you do? And if it's not, and it's allowed to be a self-serving why, people, right? I think people feel like they have to always be selfless, right? And people struggle with that selfless, selfish battle. And it's all about self-care. At the end of the day, it's about self-care. It's about understanding what you want for yourself and why you want it, and know your why. Why do you want to lose weight? It's not just to drop pounds. It's to feel healthier. It's to be healthier so that you can do the things that you want to do, right? I love looking at older people in their 70s and 80s who are still out there running, who are still out there exercising, who are at the gym, and they're moving sometimes faster than the 40 and 50-year-olds. And because they have this why that's really clear defined.
Yes, but they also have, it didn't just happen overnight. They have discipline and focus from their life. And I see that my grandfather, he's 85. The man gets on a bicycle on the pedals. He does laps around his pool, at 85 years old. And you see him and he looks like he's 65.
God bless him. See that, but that's what it's about. That's what it's about. Creating the habits, creating the rituals, creating everything that you need to make yourself healthy.
Yes. Self-awareness and self-responsibility.
Absolutely. All right. So we've been talking with Sarai Nunez from Gritt NY. Check them out at grittny.com. That's 2 T's in Gritt, GRITTNY.com. We're going to continue our conversation when we get back after this commercial break. So if you have a question for Sarai or I about coaching, nutrition, fitness, whatever it may be, give us a call at 631-451-1039. And hey, go to my Instagram at Tom Marino Coaching and DM me something from this show. DM me fitness, DM me coaching, DM me nutrition, whatever it is. And let's get you on your road to success. Get you in a place where you want to be and get you motivated. All right, and adrenalized. We'll talk to you after this break. Hey, this is Tom Marino of The Tom Marino Show here. Imagine you wake up and you've had a major sewer backup in your home. Well, let me tell you about a company that I've worked with personally, New House Restoration, where they take your damaged old house and make it a new house. For any water, fire, mold, or asbestos damage, please call them at 631-604-8590. That's 631-604-8590. New House Restoration. And welcome back to the Tom Marino Show. I'm your host, Tom Marino, Success Strategy Coach. Hey, if you're out there and you have a question about nutrition, fitness, coaching, we're talking with Sarai Nunez from Gritt NY, and I want you to give us a call, 631-451-1039. That's 631-451-1039. And Sarai, I can't believe we're almost near the end of the show today, and this has just been an amazing conversation. We have so many synergies that we bring together in both what you're doing with kickboxing and fitness and nutrition, and what I do as a coach more on the emotional and the relationship side and all that other success strategy stuff that I give to people in creating life wholeness and life harmony. And we talked about life harmony and how much you love that.
Yes.
But Sarai, we started out earlier in the show and saying how the death of your mom is really the thing that really catapulted you into doing this and becoming a whole person again. Mm-hmm. And what would you say has been the biggest and most influential learning that's come from your experience so far?
Personal accountability and not playing the victim. Because I could have, not only did my mom die, I had 4 different deaths in a time span of from 2016 to 2019.
Wow.
Right? And I could have played, and I lost my job in between all of that.
Wow.
So I could have played the victim and said, why me?
Right.
But I didn't. And I decided to grow from it and create something that not only served me, but served others.
And that's because somewhere along the line, you developed a for me mindset versus a to me mindset, right?
Yes.
You developed that when I say to people, everything happens for you. It's an opportunity.
Yes. For opportunity, for whatever it may be, for growth, for it doesn't matter. It's we have to step out of that comfort zone, and we literally have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Growth is uncomfortable. Yep. Realizing that we have bad habits, mental, blocks that those turn into habits. If, we label ourselves so easily, like that's me and I can't change that. Yes, you can. It's whether you want to change it or not.
I love that. I've talked about that. Like, it's not that you can't do that or do that thing. It's not that you can't. It's, do you want to do that thing?
Correct.
Do you want to put in the work? Do you want to take advantage of the opportunity?
Yes.
I always ask my guests before the show to submit this questionnaire, and I always put a question like about a quote that you find as inspirational. And I love what you wrote. And you wrote, "You cannot get stronger without resistance. You cannot grow faith without battles. You cannot grow in courage without challenges. Hope makes you resilient. Courage makes you unstoppable. And faith transforms your life." Holy cow. I don't know. I that just blew my mind, because that comes from such a deep place. Faith does transform your life, right? Yes. When I tell people about my process, I tell them to do 3 simple things. 1, show up consistently. 2, do the work. And 3, trust the process.
Yes.
Allow for your faith, your trust in the process to know this is the right thing for you, and you will succeed.
Yeah.
And those words just summarize that.
Yes. And it's when I heard those words, it just brought peace. It's like everything that I went through just made sense. It was like, that's it. It's, if I could describe my life or myself in a word, it's resilient. It doesn't matter what happens. It's not forever. You get up. That's why I called the studio Gritt, because you're in the middle of a workout trying to do a burpee, or after doing a whole minute of burpees and you can't do another one. Yes, you can. Push past that. Give me one more. And that's what you have to do in life when you're down and you're just aching, not just physically, but mentally, and everything is just, you feel like you're going to shatter. Maybe you will shatter, but make sure that you put yourself back together and get up, and also having support. I have a phenomenal support system at home, and that is what makes a huge difference. And if you don't have one, find it.
Right. That's the thing. That's a great point too. Like whenever I work with someone, I go, who's around you to support you through this, right? And a lot of times, people who are going through their own change journey feel like they're alone. Right? They feel like they're out there alone. They feel like that that it's all by themselves. And we talked earlier in the show about the importance of community, but you've got to build that community around you of people who support you through this change process, through your transformation process. And the fact that you had that great support system, that really did allow you to take advantage of the opportunities.
Yes, because opportunity falls empty when the determination is not there.
Oh, say that one more time.
Opportunity falls empty when the determination isn't there.
Yeah, you have to be determined. You
Correct.
have to want it. You have to want your life to be different. You have to want to succeed. You have to want to make something of yourself. You have to want, and you don't have to make something big, but you have to do something purposeful and intentional. Yes. I always say to people when they're struggling, if you don't have a clear vision, if you don't have a clear goal, if you don't have a clear sense of what you're supposed to be doing, you lose the motivation, you lose that sense of determination. But if you can approach each day setting that intention, like you set that intention every day to be up at 3:50, to be in the studio at 4:00, to get out that door and to start inspiring people, right? You're not asking anyone to do what you yourself have not done.
Correct, 100%. Like everyone, even family, my sister, it's like, I'm not asking you to do something that even when I was a manager in corporate, I would not ever ask someone to do what I didn't do. Exactly. Or something that I don't know how to do, because it wouldn't be right.
And that's all about coming out of that comfort zone too.
Yes.
Do something that you're not typically doing. Push yourself. I've never asked the client to do something that I haven't already done. You're not asking your clients to do anything that you haven't already done yourself.
Yes.
Sarai, I want to thank you so much for being on here. You're truly a hope and an inspiration. And I hope for everybody listening that Sarai has given you some sense of peace today. So thank you, Sarai, for being on here. I appreciate it so much. And we're going to have you back.
Thank you so much, Tom. It was a pleasure. It was a lot of fun. And you can follow Gritt.ny. It's at Gritt.ny with 2 T's, GRITT.NY on Instagram. That is the studio if you want to follow me personally and see a lot of pups running around. All right. My personal handle is Sarai. That's SARAI.Gritt. Right, with 2 T's.
Awesome.
And thank you so much.
Thank you, Sarai, for being here. And I just want to say today has been such an incredible show for me, both with the recent loss of my aunt and with Sarai's story of the loss of her mom and her other relatives, and how resilient she has been to put her life together. And really, she is going to transform hundreds of thousands of lives because of her experience and the opportunity that she took to change something, to transform her life from an experience. And that's what it's about, people. It's about transforming yourselves. It's about finding those opportunities when you're faced with struggle, when you're faced with a difficult situation. Please recognize that it's an opportunity for you to grow, to come out of a comfort zone, to better yourself. Everything. There is no such thing as good or bad. The only bad thing is when you don't take the opportunity. Like Sarai said before, if you're not determined, that opportunity is empty. You've got to be determined. So what are you determined to do? All right. I want you to choose your adrenalized life. So reach out to me at Tom Marino Coaching on Instagram. If you haven't been to my website, it's tommarino.com. That's tommarino.com. And I hope that you have found some inspiration in today's show. That's what we're here to do. We're here to inspire, here to help, here to push you forward on your journey to change. All right? Until next time, this is Tom Marino saying, choose your adrenalized life.